Good afternoon. This is Mrs. Capizzi with the Calculating Cats, and I'm here with a help video for 5-8 divide with one-digit numbers. So I want to show you something that we'll be using in class. This is a way for the students to remember the steps that you take for the standard algorithm. Does McDonald's serve cheeseburgers? So the D is the first step where you divide. The M stands for multiply. The S stands for subtract. The CH stands for check. And the B stands for bring down or bring up when you have a remainder. So let's try a couple examples. So when we're doing the problems in class, we like to write the steps off to the side. Does McDonald's serve cheeseburgers? Okay, so the first step I'm going to take is this, and I had already had this problem partially completed. How many times does 5 go into 8? So one time would be 5, twice would be 10, which is too much. So what you want to remember when you're dividing with the standard algorithm, you're only doing one digit at a time. So here, 1, so I divided, 8 divided by 5 is 1. Now I'm going to multiply. 1 times 5 is 5. Now I'm going to subtract. 8 minus 5 is 3. And then I'm checking to make sure that what is left over is less than my divisor. So 3 is less than 5, so I'm good. And then I would move on to my next digit, which is a 2. The B stands for bring down, so I'm going to draw an arrow and I'm going to bring down the 2. So the next thing that I'm looking at is I've got 32 divided by 5. So if I went across my 5s, I would see the closest I can get to that is 6 times. So I divided 32 divided by 5 is 6. Now I'm going to multiply. 6 times 5 is 30. So I'll check that off. Now I'm going to subtract. 32 minus 30 is 2. I'm going to check, is 2 less than 5? Yes, it is. I have no more digits to bring down, but I do have a remainder to bring up. So I'm going to circle it and draw an arrow, and I will write remainder 2. So 82 divided by 5 is 16, remainder 2. Let's take a look at a 3-digit example. So again, I'm going to write my steps off to the side. Does divide, McDonald's, multiply, serve, subtract, cheeseburgers, check, cheese, and then burgers would be the B. So first, remember we go one digit at a time. 4 is less than 8, so I need to move on to the next digit. So now I've got 41, and if I go across my 8s in my multiplication table, you would see that the closest that you can get to that would be 5 times. So I divided. 41 divided by 8 is 5. Now I'm going to multiply. 5 times 8 is 40. Now I'm going to subtract. 41 minus 40 is 1. Now I check to make sure that 1 is less than 8, and it is, so now I move on. And the B, now I checked, so now the B stands for bring down. So I have another digit, so I need to bring that down. So now I've got 17 divided by 8. And I know the closest I can get would be 2 times. So 2 times 8 is 16. So I divided, I multiplied, now I'm going to subtract. 17 minus 16 is 1. I check to make sure that 1 is less than 8. I have no other digits to bring down, but I do need to bring up my remainder. So 417 divided by 8 is 52, remainder 1. Let's do a couple more examples here. Again, off to the side, I will write my help acronym. D for divide, M for multiply, S for subtract, CH for check, and B for bring down or bring up. Does McDonald's serve cheeseburgers? So remember, we do this one digit at a time, so we've got 93 divided by 4. The closest I can get to 9, 4 goes into 9 2 times, so 2 times 4, so I divided, now I'm multiplying. 2 times 4 is 8. Now I'm going to subtract. 9 minus 8 is 1. I check to make sure that what's left over is less than my divisor. 1 is less than 4. So now I have another digit to bring down, so I draw my arrow and I drop down the 3. So now I have 13 divided by 4, or you can think of it as how many times can 4 go into 13. And the most it can go in is 3 times. So I just divided, now I'm going to multiply. 3 times 4 is 12. Now I'm going to subtract. 13 minus 12 is 1. I check to make sure that the 1 is less than my divisor of 4. I have nothing left to bring down, but I do have a remainder to bring up, so I bring that up, and that's remainder 1. And we'll do one more example here. I've got 948 divided by 7. So I'm going to look at my first digit. It is more than 7, so I know I can divide it, and that's only going to go in one time. So I've got my division, divide, multiply, subtract, check, and bring down. Does McDonald's serve cheeseburgers? So I divided. Now I'm going to multiply. 1 times 7 is 7. Now I'm going to subtract. 9 minus 7 is 2. I check to make sure that 2 is less than my divisor of 7, and I go on to my next place value, my next digit. So I do have another digit to bring down, so I bring down the 4. Now I've got 24 divided by 7. So if I go across my 7s, I know the most that can go in is 3 times. So I divided. Now I'm going to multiply. 3 times 7 is 21. Now I'm going to subtract. 4 minus 1 is 3. I check to make sure that 3 is less than 7. It is. And I have another digit to bring down. So I bring down my 8s. Now I've got 38 divided by 7. And if I look in my multiplication chart, so when I say that, this is what I mean. So my divisor is 7. So if I go across the 7s, I can see the closest I can get to 38 would be 35. And then I read up and I see that goes in 5 times. So I would put the 5 up here. 5 times 7 is 35. So I divided, I multiplied, now I'm going to subtract. So 38 minus 35 is 3. I check to make sure that 3 is less than 7, and it is. I don't have any more digits to bring down, but I do have a remainder to bring up. So remainder 3. So 948 divided by 7 equals 135, remainder 3. I hope that this helped and that you have a wonderful day.